Welcome back. We're on the second floor. We got dudes with bats and golf clubs coming at us. Sorry, I lied. It's only 2 dudes with bats.
No, I think this is Mario? Mario's falling on hard times, you see.
Is it because they work at Bats Pizza?
Yeah, that's Luigi, see?
I'm sure.
Man, you know, the Pizza Bat Monopoly has really not done well for the Mario Brothers. To be fair, Mario is also skilled in using the beam katana because it's in Smash Bros. Been there since the first game.
I love the beam katana. It's such a nice weapon. I love that it gets longer when you swing it now. I think they introduced that in Brawl. Such a nice effect.
I think so.
That might have actually been since Melee, because Melee had the one that actually looked like a katana with the beveled or the chamfered tip.
That's a 7.
Right, I'm fairly certain that's when it came up. This chainsaw dude doesn't realize that I'm one with the Matrix and he cannot touch me.
I'm trying. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
No, you're not, motherfucker. I'm gonna finish my beer that I said would finish last time because I owe it for all
sure.
these now. Okay, next one. I'm moving out tomorrow. I don't care if I leave a small dent in the floor. I mean, I do, but it's just a can. It's not gonna dent the laminate. I really just wanted the sound effect of like throwing a can away.
What else we got? We got
Tiger Book? Tiger Book.
Pizza Bat Bookstore.
Books on tigers. Another Mad Jewel. That sign is just backwards, so...
Oh, I hate it when games do that, where it's like, we're lazy.
Join our team.
We kind of just flip the texture.
It's not that they flipped the texture, it's that they used one mesh.
Yes.
That's double-sided, and...
That's what I meant by flip.
For absolutely no increase in performance, they could have just, like, made a second mesh. We're taking the original mesh and, like, rotated it 180 degrees. But what they did was that they took, like, one plane, applied a material to it that was double-sided, which, in terms of rendering costs, still treats it as 2 planes. But because it's double-sided, it takes the texture that was on it when it's properly facing and just displays it in reverse, because it's the exact same UV space.
I guess what's your
If anything, like, actually, you're kind of right. It is a matter of laziness, because setting it up the other way would have taken a little bit more effort, whereas just setting a material to double-sided is simple.
I guess what are some of your favorite techniques for doing stuff?
When I'm 2 beers deep and slicing people in half is not the best time to be talking about like how I like to deal with the Unity engine. I can point out little tidbits of knowledge, but the stuff that I work in at work is like...
You're going the wrong way.
In Unity, I know how to work with the Mechanim State Machine engine, and I know how to work with Shader Forge to, like, visually create new shaders. But that's...
There's a door open over there.
It's not that that's about it, but, like, that's what I've been primarily working in. And that type of stuff is very hard to really describe without getting in and playing with it. Because it's a bunch of visual scripting, basically.
I feel you, except for the fact that I've never really done that stuff. But I get what you mean. I have an understanding of it.
Custom shaders are the shit, man. Like, if there's ever anything in a game that's doing something special, and you're just like, I wonder how they made that effect, because that looks a little bit different from just, say, a standard thing that looks like it could exist in the real world. All of that is done in custom shaders. Like, the lighting effect that you see in this game, where things have, like, this sort of a cel-shaded look to it, but not quite cel-shaded.
Did you just throw that guy out of existence? I couldn't tell.
I believe that I did. All of this is done with custom shaders because they're taking what would be a standard lighting setup and they're basically taking it and saying like, if you all right, I'm gonna see if I can describe this in a simple way. If you imagine a sphere, right? You know, you've seen artists draw spheres, you've seen those examples of spheres, and they use them as a shading example, right? Because the light drops off it very, very slowly. Now, if you look at the lighting going on in this game on Travis here, where you've got this cel-shaded look, and there's a very clear lit portion and a very clear shadowed portion. What that is, and I believe this is available in most engines now as a standard option, but when this game was made, it was probably done with a custom shader. What they're doing is that they're taking what's probably about the halfway point in that shadow gradient, or maybe they might put it at 40%, 60%, whatever it is. And then they're saying everything that is above this level, just clamp it to 0. And everything that's below this level, everything that's below this level, clamp it to 0. Everything that's above this level, clamp it to 1. So there's only a lit and unlit state. And there's really nothing in between. Except in No More Heroes, you can see there is a little bit of a gradient depending where you look. So what they've kind of done is they've just taken it and like either made it a hard cut on certain angles, or they are tightening up the gradient very, very intensely.
I think they're doing the intensely because this is a really technical Wii game.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also stuff where if you look at his face, you can see the shadows have a few different levels of shadow. Like as compared to his jacket, when you look at his face, there's a shadowed portion and then it goes to an intensely black shadow before it hits the lighting stage. That's what you call a core shadow, and it's something that I learned in a painting class a life drawing class that I took at the museum here a couple years ago.
Nice.
So like you can do cel shading, and then if you go along the border between your light and dark and you put down a super dark strip, it actually makes it look like more real. Which doesn't make any sense according to the way the laws of like actual light work. But visually, it makes things way more interesting. So on the skin tones there, on his face in particular, they're doing that, which means that they're finding out where that line is. They've got the 1 lit and the 0 and the 0 shadowed, and then they're taking as it approaches the line where they set it to lit, and they're intensifying the shadow on it. And this is all stuff you can do in custom shaders. Regular shaders like take work in scripting and coding, and like that's the realm of programmers that know how to work with visuals. But there are tools now where you can do this type of stuff visually, like with node-based editors. And I'm not going to go into a description of what node-based editors. Well, here yes, I will. It's math that's set up with like distinct nodes that do a specific thing.
Isn't that how like all coding is though?
No, most coding and scripting is actually done by people in a text editor, actually writing scripts and writing code. Visual script editors are when they take that code and that level of abstraction, and they sort of make it in between, so people who don't know how to code can work with it. And they will make an editor where you can take nodes that will do certain things, and every node that you put in has a mathematical or a code function built into it. And then you basically just hook up nodes via input and output, like little chunks basically, and you can say, I want to take this number over here, and then I'll pull it over to a multiply node, and then I'll also take this object's texture map, and I'll multiply this object's texture map by a value of 2, for example. So, put very simply, if you just take a texture map's color values and multiply it by 2, that'll make it very, very bright. And this is where you get into the math side of visuals. If you've ever wondered what Photoshop does with all of its adjustment layers, like say additive, screen, blend, multiply, all those things in Photoshop, that's essentially what this is. It's a mathematical calculation on every pixel
That's awesome.
that exists on that layer that changes the way it presents itself. That's why multiply makes it darker, because usually, like, pure white in art terms is 1.
Yes.
And anything less than white is less than 1. So if you multiply something by something less than 1, that makes it smaller. That's why when you draw on a multiply layer in Photoshop, you're making it darker.
This guy's in the background. Look at him.
I know. I'm gonna get back to the actual game now, because like I've just been standing in a hallway talking about my understanding of mathematical art stuff with no visual aids for
I noticed.
it for
It was
like too
I was
long
super
now.
invested in it, and I got really. I kind of stopped paying attention as soon as the guy started popping back and forth. He was like, he's still talking about textures. It's the real world.
You didn't notice as long as I was standing in the hallway where nothing was going on, but when that guy started pressing himself against the window, you wanted to get back to the game.
Of course,
I hear you.
It was really funny. It was just like, I'm here. Look, dude, you were supposed to kill us like 20 minutes ago. Come on.
Pay attention to me. Anyways, yeah. Like, I'm sorry to you guys at home. Like, that type of stuff is very hard to describe in a like super.
I think you described it pretty well.
Super succinct way. But like, I hope I at least like gave those of you who are curious as to what I do like a little bit of knowledge into what it is, and that I described it in a way where you could at least kind of follow along. It's all I could really hope for 2 beers deep with, again, no visual aids. Like, I'm doing talks at work right now where I'm trying to do like brain dumps and explain to other people what I've been doing for the past 2 years, so that like other people will be able like to pick up in my stead once I go off to Japan. And these are hour-long talks for a single topic where I have access to computer resources and I can show them how it works. So me talking about it for 5 minutes in a hallway in No More Heroes is like, oh fuck, dude, can I explain this in any way that will kind of make sense?
Sort of.
I'm glad you at least seem to have
No, I love that stuff. Like, I'm dating an artist, so like this stuff to me is important. Like my girlfriend, so when you were talking about life drawing, you know, she took the life drawing. She's got some neat life drawing stories.
Art is like a fascinating thing. It's most definitely like a field where you could never stop growing, because even if you feel like you're stagnating in one field, pick up sculpting or something. Pick up a different field, and you can do that for 3 months and then come back to your original craft, and you will have learned things that will just make you look at it in such a different way that you'll take off in an entirely new direction.
Oh, for sure.
Open the elevator! Open the fuck, damn it. Not fast enough.
And this is like every convention elevator ever. You just really want to get on the elevator, but you can't.
Bam! Do you know what they're saying when it sounds like they're saying Baba?
They're saying mama.
Oh, okay. Because I really thought they were just like jabbering, be like, ah, Baba, I'm gonna die, Baba, Baba.
No, but now you're making me angry because you reminded me Baba Is You Exist, which is a great puzzle game, but that is a game that hurts my brain.
I just played Baba Is You literally last night at my office's games night, and we had fun with it for about an hour, but like, I am not a puzzle gamer. I just get frustrated and give up at shit pretty quickly.
No, the puzzles in that, have you played Snakebird? Because I liken it to Snakebird, where both of them are very good puzzle games, but it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It is so difficult really fast.
Actually, like, the way that Baba Is You is set up actually reminded me a lot of, like, programming and coding and scripting.
Yes,
and
that's
stuff,
actually
because
how
if
I
you
described
boil
it to
down,
someone.
Really, like, it's about variables, basically, and you can change what those variables are by moving stuff around, and that's the whole point of the game.
I think the sound somehow reset again.
Did it?
Oh, it did.
I can still hear. Can you not hear it? Oh, you're saying that the sound went
Yeah,
up.
this is definitely the tech issue day.
Is this better?
Good enough.
Okay, well, is it actually better?
Yeah, a little
Okay,
bit.
because I turned down my Discord input volume to 50%, so like everything going to you should be turned down.
I just wonder sometimes,
Including my own voice.
like, what happens when things just choose not to work one day when it works every other day?
I don't fucking know. Sound levels in particular are like really weird because, like, everything that has a sound bar likes to automate like auto leveling according to like what it thinks the volume is to try to keep things consistent. But really all that does is just like fuck up everything because you'll get a quiet part and it'll boost it super loud. It's like just stop all auto I wish there was a way to tell your computer. Like everything that accesses my sound and microphone, literally everything, just stop it from auto leveling. I don't want any of it ever. I want to set my levels and just have them stay there.
I don't know why that's so hard for programs. It's not just Discord, there's plenty of other stuff that are like that.
So much stuff built in for convenience, and the options to like turn those off and go back to the manual way are so unnecessarily deeply buried. I hate it. Like either deeply buried or straight up removed from the user's hands, which is just unforgivable.
Speaking of hands, I guess that's Alice's thing. We're probably never gonna see it.
I also don't know how long this episode's been going because, like, I didn't turn on the second episode timer until after I was finished my art talk.
I guess we could just go in the elevator and end it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too. Let's go into this elevator and end it. If it's a long one, I'm sorry again, Joel, and if it's a short one, then you know what? Audience, fucking cut Joel a break. Sometimes he needs some short ones.
Joel's a cool dude, he works hard.
Yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. Woo, woo, woo. He's showing off this trick again. Woo, 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 woo. The buttons. Hit
Travis
the buttons.
wants you to hit
the
A.
buttons for the sake of the happy penis in the corner. Hit A. Hit A for the sake of the happy penis in the corner. And in this case, hit it again. And then hit it again. And then hit that like and subscribe button. All right? Cool.